Welcome, level uppers, to the Netflix Club episode 3. Tonight, we are going to be talking about 13 Reasons Why. I'm one of your co-hosts, Andrew Midori. Of course, I've got with me the beast from the East, Dean Marchese.
Hello.
And Gregory Verga, aka the man in the box, aka Birthday Boy.
Yes, it's my birthday!
Happy birthday.
3, ladies and gents.
Also,
to you.
quick disclaimer, we apologize for any video stutters, audio issues, XSplit, Skype, everything has imploded.
All bad.
Everything is
I
going to shit.
decided to fuck us, and not in the good way.
And it means that we're going to literally have about 20 minutes to talk about 13 Reasons Why tonight. So we are jumping right in. 13 Reasons Why, of course, is based off a book by, what's his name, Greg? Because you're the only one that read it.
Frank Miller.
Jay Asher.
Who was also a part of the show, which is great. He actually, he was a showrunner.
Yeah, he produced it.
He produced it. So that is already a great thing. Starting with you, Greg, how did you feel having read the book and then the conversion to the TV show or the Netflix series? Do you feel like it was a good take on it all?
Phenomenal. I thought the show adaptation, they switched a couple things from the book to the show. But I thought the television show storyline and that adaptation of it was so much more surreal. It was like little nuances and stuff, but they took more of like a gritty tone with the show than they did the novel. Not that the novel was lighthearted by any means. I mean, the show is about a girl killing herself and then telling people why she killed herself. But the book, I guess maybe because I read it in high school, like it didn't resonate as much with me. But I recently just reread the book as well, and the show I think is better than the book, personally.
I've heard that many times because, as far as I know, in the book, it's all in one night, correct? The entire thing?
Yes. Yes. So all 13 Reasons Why, he listens to all the tapes, like all at once.
Yeah, and in the TV show, the main character, Clay Jensen, he has this anxiety where it works out that it spreads it through the 13 episodes of the Netflix series, which is also very convenient when you think about it, because most Netflix series are 13 episodes, and then this show is 13 Reasons Why. It allowed them to put a side of a tape to each episode, and it had, in my opinion, I thought it had really great pacing. I know on your end, Dean, when you first started that first episode, you came to us and you kind of rolled your eyes. What was your reason for that, and did that change for you as the show went on?
Yeah, it definitely did change for me. Just the first couple episodes, it was very high school-y, and I get that that's what the show is about, but some of the things they were saying and some of the things they were doing did not really match up for me. And some of that really kind of lasted all the way through until the end. Like, we're talking about, these kids are what? This show started off as they're sophomores?
Some of them are. I know that Tony is older. I think he might be a senior.
Okay, so when this begins, I think, when we meet Hannah, they were sophomores, because then it goes into junior year, because then they're talking about, when we all the way get to present day, they're talking about becoming seniors and stuff, like the next year.
Correct.
So we have sophomores in the beginning of the show, like just dropping F-bombs in the hallway. These kids have like sleeves of tattoos and shit. Like, you're 15 years old.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know.
That
Some of that shit, I was like, come on, dude. Like, I don't know. It was a little unrealistic for me at first. It did change because I got really invested in the story and some of the characters, obviously. So I liked it way more. In the beginning, I was like, this is not going to be for me. But I did like it a lot. I think it was really well done.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we are going into spoiler territory, and I hope that if you have any interest in watching the show, you are not here right now listening to our discussion. But of course, as Greg said, it's about a girl killing herself.
Spoiler alert: the girl commits suicide.
Yes, I mean that's
it happens.
That's at the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
I mean it's about the girl already committed suicide. Her name is Hannah, of course, and then these tapes come out. Each tape going to a certain student, to 13, not all students, 13 different people that affected Hannah in some small ways and some much bigger ways, and eventually coerced her into wanting to commit suicide. A lot of people are talking about the show. It's very controversial. This show is everywhere right now. A lot of people are down on it for certain reasons. One of them being that they think it glamorizes suicide in some ways because
Jesus, I didn't think so at all.
A lot of people are saying that
it looks so bad.
It's like a revenge story in some ways, all right? Because Hannah's sending out all these tapes to the people that pushed her, teased her, whatever. Slut shaming is really the big theme. And some people say, people already considering suicide may look at the show and think, oh, this is how I'm going to stick it to the people. I'm going to do what Hannah did. I'm going to stick it to all these people that affected me. Because really, this completely alters the lives of every single person that is on these tapes in a tremendously negative way. Most of them are trying to figure out how not to let this story come out, because Clay is one of the last ones to get the tapes, and he's like the one true nice guy of the group, and they're all worried. Is he going to release these tapes? How's this going to affect us? You know, got a lot of people that are like valedictorians in this group that you know, don't want this whole story coming back to bite them. And that's why I think some people are looking at it as like, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stick it to the people that bullied me and teased me.
To those people, I think that's a valid point all the way until, I mean, if you watch the last episode, like, I feel like that's kind of the show's point, in a way. I mean, it's obviously not the main thesis of the whole journey, but if you watch the whole series, she's you know, kind of like kicking ass by like sticking it to all these people and blowing them up, and that's great. But I think the show itself realized that, and then finally at the very last episode, it's kind of like the writers of the show saying, but don't forget, this is fucking terrible, and they show you how terrible. Yeah. And I don't understand, if you watch the last episode, how you could feel anything but like, fuck. Yeah.
The last two episodes, I think, really point out, and I think totally crush the point to those people that say that it glamorizes suicide. One being, they show you everything. It's very, very graphic. From the moment of her inception of walking into the bathroom, drawing herself a bath, like it literally, like spot for spot. Then she pulls out the razor blade. They show you her slitting her wrist completely and the pain that she goes through in that. Great acting on the girl's part. Yeah.
Oh my God, she was fucking amazing.
The girl's British too, which I thought was cool.
Australian.
I watched like behind the something like that. And then the episode prior to that as well, I don't think anybody in their right mind could blame her for. I mean, I'm totally against suicide 100%.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say we all obviously are not, you know, not condoning anything like that.
Yeah, we're not like stick it to the man and fucking kill yourself. But the reason why she ends up finally killing herself, because the whole time I was watching the series, I thought it was gonna be something like, oh, this is gonna glamorize it, like it's gonna be her like sticking it to the bullies in the school and whatnot. But like the last 2 or 3 episodes right before the season finale is just fucking the scene where she so spoiler, we can go into spoilers.
Go ahead. Yep.
The scene where she gets raped in the hot tub was one of the most gut-wrenching, like hurtful, painful, like it was the hardest thing for me to watch.
It was probably the most brutal rape scene I've seen personally.
It goes to a point where the guy gets into the hot tub with her and he's literally holding her to the tub, presses her head against it, and when you see the like her soul drain from her eyes and just her body moving as her grasp like lets go, I lost my mind.
Yeah, and they did like a 30-minute
scenes to watch, dude.
Post-show discussion on a lot of things, and they talked to like psychologists were talking about how that is a certain situation for many rape victims, that, you know, some flee, some fight, and some just completely shut down. And clearly Hannah was one that just shut down. Like she goes lifeless. Her eyes just the light goes out of them. That
was really difficult to watch.
It is, because it's a scene where you like really see this is what pushed her over the edge. Because as you roll your eyes,
everything leading up to that point, though, like you were saying, or I think one of us just said it. I might have been myself, but up until that point, I was like, really, like, she's gonna kill herself because people are making fun of her. Like, come on, like, grow a pair.
Point, right? Because Dean rolled his eyes at the first episode, because in the first episode, it's a text goes around with a picture of her, not even naked, just like a, you know, unflattering picture, a little bit up the skirt, goes around the school, and it's like, really, this is gonna push this girl to commit suicide? But the whole
no, don't get me wrong. I don't want to misconvey my stance on it at all. I know people in real life that I went to school with that videos and pictures went around with. I get that being a much bigger deal than it looks like. It wasn't the context of what's happening to her that made me kind of roll my eyes. It was the
like the
just
scenario.
kind of, it was just kind of the overall, like, a combination of things. It was the aesthetic they chose. It was the age of these kids, the way they were acting, the way they looked with the tattoos and everything, and just the way they were just kind of like, you know, throwing F-bombs and this and that in the hallway, and the teacher's like, hey, watch your mouth. Yeah. That doesn't happen.
Well, either way,
if you said that shit in school, you would get detention or something like that.
My point is how it starts with that. That that's the starting off point. That's where the tree branches from, because that one thing caused the whole school to change their perspective on Hannah and how they treated her.
Yeah.
And the slut shaming began as a part of that. And that's where the list came from. And that's where the groping of the ass came from. And that's where the one valedictorian thinking he could get some from her. Like all these things just branched from that one text, that one image. And that's the kind of the purpose of the show is one little thing. You might think you're not doing something, but all it takes is that one little thing, and it could cause the spiral out of control for a girl that seemingly was so strong. And that's a lot of people's complaints on the show. It's like, oh, this is a girl that would never kill herself. Look how strong she is. She's a strong female character. It's like, that's the point. That's the entire point, is that you had this strong girl that was completely torn apart by the start of this very simple thing. And that's what makes it so devastating to watch too, because Hannah is very likable. She's very flawed as well.
Oh my God, I love her. I love her so much.
That's what's so great about the show is I watched it, and the whole entire way through, I was like, I bet you she left something for her parents. I bet she hid something, and they're going to find it at the end. No, she left nothing for her parents. She went through all these troubles of making 13 tapes to stick it to these people, and then she left nothing for her parents. She left them to find her in the bathtub, which again they showed on the show, which was devastating as all hell to see the parents find her dead body, and she left
with the blood
nothing
in the tub
for them.
like overflowing.
That really bothered
God,
me. That
bothered me as well.
Gave nothing to her parents, no closure at all to her parents.
I feel like it made sense for her character though.
I thought just the opposite,
because she lost herself, and when she lost her soul in that rape scene, I think she lost all emotional attachment to the world.
But here's
so I feel
where
like
that
she
breaks
didn't
down.
have the love for her parents anymore. You know what I mean?
Here's where that breaks down, dude. Because we're listening to these tapes, and granted, that could be the premise, and that's fine. But in terms of story structure, we're listening to these tapes that she had recorded all season long that very clearly sound like herself. She's acting like herself. So if she was in that rate of a mind to be able to leave like such of her personality and her spirit on those tapes for people, she wouldn't be thinking ahead enough to leave something for her parents. Like that was a misstep. I agree. I think that was kind of like it wasn't in line with who she was, especially like if those tapes towards the end, if like further into the tapes we went, if she really started like changing in tone and drastically getting darker, and by the end of it she was just like, I'm fucking broken and you can all go fuck yourselves, and then she kills herself and didn't leave anything for her parents. But as we're listening to the last tape, she sounds no different than she did in the first one.
The way I looked at it, Dean, is that she felt like she was not deserving of love from anybody. She didn't feel like she was deserving of love from Clay. She didn't feel like she was deserving of love from her parents. And I think she might have even thought that her parents didn't love her at that point. She went to this place and it's hard to understand it, I personally, and I'm not sure the show did the best job of convincing me of that path, but I did get the vibe that that's what happened to her. I wanted to ask you guys another question to move away from that topic. Bryce is obviously the worst of the show. He rapes 2 girls in the show. He's really the one that pushes her over the edge. But of all the other characters, Clay included, who did you think least deserved to be on the tapes, and who do you think most deserved to be on the tapes?
Who do you want to go first?
Greg, I'll start with you.
I fucking hated the Asian lesbian.
I agree.
Hated her. She was the fucking worst.
She was the worst.
Even as they're all having the conference meeting, they're like, well, who the fuck cares? Like, we all know you're a fucking lesbian. My favorite character, I think, not necessarily, I feel like he deserved to be on the tapes, but I think the character that redeemed himself most throughout the show was Alex. I ended up like falling in love with the kid.
I liked Alex.
I think he realized like throughout the show, like he was there for Justin, like when the kid got kicked out of his house, like he was there for all the other people the most, I felt.
What was really sad about his story?
He was the one that took nobody's bullshit.
Yeah, what was really sad about his story and was a great part of the show to show that side of things is how it might even push other people to commit suicide because they feel such guilt. And that doesn't even have to be somebody that was on these tapes. As far as I've read, people feel insane guilt without even having the tapes whatsoever in real life. So this kid has these tapes, and throughout the entire series, he's trying to be punished. He wants so badly to be punished. He gets into fights. He wants to be expelled at one point, and he's not expelled. And then at the end, for the going to the trial or whatever you want to call it, the hearings, his father gets him out of it. And he so clearly doesn't want that. He wants to be heard. He wants to be punished. And of course, in the end, he decides to punish himself. We don't know if his suicide attempt was successful. It is confirmed that there is a second season coming. Not sure how I feel about that. I don't even think we're going to have time to get into that. But we don't know what happened with his character. He did try to shoot himself. Though Clay, I want to say, I feel had no right whatsoever to be on those tapes, and I think it's real shitty that Hannah put him on those tapes. She says herself that he shouldn't be on the tapes. So why the hell did you put him on the tapes? This kid is going to suffer his entire life because you put him on those tapes.
I think she knew, in a way, what he would do with the tapes and what, like, I don't think the tapes would have had that drastic or dramatic of an impact on the other people if it wasn't for Clay.
Maybe so, but do you think he deserved that? I mean, you might have thought, you were watching that scene, right, where he finally hears the tape, and he's on the cliff, and he hears about how, she even says, you're a nice guy, Clay, you don't deserve to be on these tapes, but in his mind, the only thing he's thinking about is how he could have treated that situation differently, and how he literally blames himself for her killing herself. Like, he took the entire blame in that scene, even though she straight out says, you didn't deserve to be on these tapes. That's what happened. If anything, I felt like the
verification, but I felt like the verification of her confirming that over the tape, if anything, like, yeah, you're going to wonder that, but like, he was going to wonder that regardless. So I feel like her saying that and including him on the tapes wasn't to be like vindictive.
I mean, in the first episode, when he's listening to the tapes, everything she's saying, he's like, what? I didn't do that. I don't understand why I'm on these tapes. He was totally, completely confused for the longest time in the show. Because he didn't know why he was on the tapes. He didn't see it. And I'm glad that, like, he understood and he changed as a person. At the end, for instance, he goes to his old friend and realized that she's probably a troubled person and that he should talk to her. That's the good ramifications of the tapes. But I still feel like he is going to really suffer for a long time because of these tapes, and he did not deserve that at all. The other one I really want to talk about before we wrap up here is the counselor. He's a really big part of the show, especially at the end.
Fuck him, dude.
Well, hang on, because I agree that I thought Courtney is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was the worst. I actually thought I did like Alex, but I actually thought in terms of most redeeming and maybe one of the lesser deserving ones to be on the tape was Zach, the basketball player.
Yep.
I thought he was like a totally fine kid. Like, yeah, he threw away some letters, but overall, in the grand scheme of things, of everything these other people done, like, he wasn't a bad guy. Especially when he got confronted with Clay and they spoke, and he was like, just read this here. And then he felt guilt and he tried to make up for it, and he was trying to be better, even though he was really of like way lesser on the scale of people that deserve to be on the tapes, in my opinion.
I agree.
I do think Courtney was a real fucking bitch. She was the worst.
I wish she fucking killed herself.
Shout out to Jessica as runner-up for most fucking annoying person on that show, though. She really got.
I felt bad for her, but she wasn't
bad.
Yeah,
I felt bad once you find out that she gets raped. But
by the way, I just want to fucking point out to everybody, like, a lot of the things that happen in the show that happen in the novel as well, like, I just hope you don't allow this to happen. Like, the one scene where Bryce is literally raping the fucking girl at the party and Hannah sat in the closet. Like, I get it, you're in shock, but, like, that would never fucking happen.
If you're the third party, you need to step up.
You need to figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, but I could totally see
getting pushed down on the ground and Bryce is going to the door. You fucking kick back open the door and you get your girlfriend out of the fucking room.
I was convinced, though, that somebody would react the way those people reacted, though. I don't think it was unrealistic that Hannah would be shocked and fear. Would.
I was not convinced at all that Jessica's boyfriend would just be like, oh, I guess I'll just let him rape her. He's got me beat.
That's my point.
Like,
it wasn't really about that, though.
She was going through shit and she was drunk, so Hannah would probably like,
it was completely about that. He just left, dude.
Yes, I know that, but it wasn't about, like, oh, he's my buddy, he's my friend, like, I'm just going to let him rape my girlfriend. No, it was about this guy was there for him in a much bigger way than even a friend.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, 16 years old, you understand that you're not supposed to let somebody rape another person, let alone that girl's your girlfriend now.
Yeah.
Whether they saved your fucking life when you're a child, no chance that someone just walks away. There's no chance.
I don't know. I don't know that that's a no case. Like, no way that's ever going to happen.
I found that very unbelievable.
Really?
That
was the one scene of the series and the one situation in the series that really irked me.
Okay.
I do feel like Hannah, I could see someone in Hannah's position kind of cowering. You know what I mean?
Well, Hannah in terms of female, and he's a very aggressive guy, but the Justin situation really pissed me off out of that situation.
Okay.
But, like, I put myself into Hannah's shoes, and I was like, I would fucking open up the closet and be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I would not have watched that because, number one, I wouldn't have been able to sit through that emotionally as a human being and watch that go on. But
again, you're
I
a
guess I
guy,
could kind
that
of understand.
could maybe even handle Bryce. Hannah is this little girl. I mean, she's
Yeah,
tiny.
exactly.
Like,
So I get that side of things now, but the Justin part, that really fucking irked me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, it's meant to irk you for sure, I would imagine. But real quick, to close this off, how did you guys feel about the counselor in the end? Do you think that he really messed up? Do you think that this show is meant to kind of speak to teachers and counselors and be like,
For
this
sure.
is what not to do?
Yeah,
I think he
really
fucked up a lot.
Dean,
I don't
why don't
think-
you go, Dean? I feel like
Yeah.
we haven't heard from you as much.
I just think especially when you're in a person of that position, not just a teacher. First of all, if you're a teacher, you're signing up for way more than teaching whatever subject you are. You understand that these kids are in their formative years, and it is your job between the hours of whatever 7 a.m. 2 p.m. Like, you're their parent for that amount of time. You have to do the best you can in your role to mold their minds, make sure they're not getting into shit in the hallways and getting into trouble. So that alone, if you're a guidance counselor who's literally your job is to take that responsibility to the nth degree, and when she comes in and says what she says, and he just like what was that fucking reaction, dude?
Yeah,
that was insane. He fucked
What
up.
are you talking about when she
big
said,
time.
like, talked about getting raped?
Towards
And
the
he was
end,
like, well,
yeah.
you could do nothing.
Even
I'm
when
like,
it was hypothetical, and she was like, "My friend Bob," and he's like, "Who? No, do you think this is possible?" And it's like, dude, no. That's when you're like, I need names and I need phone numbers.
He
and
was
you're not
victim blaming.
willing to, like, get them.
He was 100% victim
100%.
blaming in that scene.
100%.
Yeah.
You need to start fucking taking names and be like, you're not leaving until I have an answer, because whoever's doing whatever is going to be held responsible.
That was his biggest failure, is letting her leave. I could understand him being uncomfortable in the situation maybe, and him having a lot of other shit going on in his life, and he was trying to put the phone away, and all that. But letting her leave was his biggest failure, because as you said, he should have got her to stay there until he got the word rape out of her mouth, because he knew that she was raped. All he got to do was get her to say it. He just, and it sucked that had to be the way to do it, that he had to get her to say it. But
he almost says, like, he almost does what most people do, which is when a woman gets raped, they allude to, "Are like, you sure you didn't want it?" You know what I mean?
Victim blaming,
like, that's fucking insane, dude. That's insane.
Not even that.
That was so frustrating.
He pretty much told her once she wouldn't say raped. He's like, well, what you could do is suck it up.
Yeah,
pretty much.
that's
That's what he
true.
told him. You gotta suck it up. You're only here for another couple years. Suck it up.
Besides even the rape portion of their conversation, the worst was when she was like, I don't feel like life is worth living anymore. And he was
Right.
like, all right, go. I'm
Yeah.
like,
He's like, that's a
I
pretty
would
serious thing to
never
say. Let's move on
in
from
a
that.
million years, if a child came to me, regardless if they were from some fucking weirdo in the corner of the school that smoked pot and did nothing and was like, listen, I don't really feel like life is worth living anymore, they would not leave my side. Ever, or I would have their parent come to pick them up and not leave their side.
She made
Your
multiple
child is thinking about
references.
killing themselves. Like
she made a few references to saying, like, nobody loves me. I don't know, like, why I'm alive, and he just like blows it off.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy.
It was
He
tough to
fucked
watch.
up
He was bad.
big time, dude.
Yeah, he was the
Shout
last one
out
to get the tapes
before
too.
we end any of this. Tony is just the best fucking guy ever.
Almost unrealistic how amazing a friend he is.
Tony is the best guy.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
I loved him so much.
Also,
Awesome gay
like
role model.
29 years old, I want to say that guy.
Yeah, for real, dude. He looked way older than high school
Unfortunately,
age, but-
we can't go into more detail on this show. We would love to. As you can tell, though, there's so much to discuss on this show. And if you haven't watched it yet, and for some reason you did watch the discussion, you can tell there's more to discuss. And you should really watch the show and maybe push other people to watch it. It's uncomfortable. It's graphic. But I do believe it's an important show, especially for teachers, especially for counselors, and especially for students.
I agree.
So I really recommend that more people watch the show. It's very well produced, very well acted. It can be a little maybe unrealistic at times. It might be a little too high school tropey at times, as Dean alluded to. But overall, what they were trying to nail, I feel like they accomplished, and that is why I'm a little nervous about a season 2. But of course, we can discuss that at a later time. Just in closing, I guess, why don't we try and rate it? I guess, Greg, if you had to rate this out of 10, what would you give this Netflix series?
15 out of 10.
Wow,
I loved it. I loved it. From the moment the first episode started, I was completely engrossed. I don't know if it's, like I said, I read the book prior to it, so I was already like anticipating the show. But then the acting was like phenomenal. I didn't expect the acting to be as strong too, especially from like the younger cast.
Dylan was excellent, man.
Yes, fucking
Dylan,
for sure.
Who was Dylan?
Dylan's Clay.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. He was in the Blind Guy movie.
Yeah.
The whole time I watched this, I had said this to Andrew. All I could think about once I got it in my head, it was like, God damn, if Tom Holland ever decides to back out, this is fucking Peter Parker and a half.
Yes, that would be awesome.
So,
But
Dina-
my real big takeaway was the message. Like
Yeah.
Drew said,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
everybody can take something from the show. And I know since watching the show myself, like I just strive to make someone's day even more than I normally try to.
Definitely.
Just make somebody smile. You don't know how much it's going to affect somebody's life. You have no idea what somebody's going through behind the scenes. So there's no reason to be an asshole ever.
Dean, I'm very curious on your end because you started off a little bit down on the show. Where did you come out at the end?
I would probably give it, if we're rating it, like a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
I thought it was really, really good. It was obviously, from just a fundamental level, these young actors and actresses deserve so much fucking credit because, like, they're just coming up. A lot of them only been in 1 or 2 things, and they fucking blew me away. They were outstanding. The people you were supposed to hate, you really fucking hate. I will never forget that kid that played Bryce. Like, you could just, if he can walk into a room, and it's a testament to the writing, but all he had to do was show up, and you immediately got this feeling. You're like, ugh, you fucking slime bag.
Yeah.
So, like, it was so well done. The overall message, obviously, is super important. It's super important that this show exists, and I'm glad it does. The girl that played Hannah is my new, like, favorite person. She was really awesome. And like I was saying, I think it's really important that this exists. I think there's a certain world of people that need to see this show. For me personally, giving it a 9 out of 10, having it be so well done, this is not something I ever needed in my life. It was super, super sad and really dark, and that is not why I personally go to entertainment. I don't want that. It's almost too real. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not looking for that when I sit down to watch TV or a movie. I just want to, like, get lost in things that aren't so shitty sometimes. But still 9 out of 10. It's excellent. It just was so real and, like, raw that, like, I think the people that need to see it. Just for someone like me, it was a lot. I don't know that I would ever need to see it again or anything like that, but it was great. It was really well done.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really say much more than you guys already said. I would also give it a 9 out of 10. I don't think it's without flaws. I think the ending was a little strange, and I think that's because they're planning a second season, which I really would have done without. I think it should have had more closure, tied things up a little better. I'm okay with a little bit of ambiguity, especially in a show like this, which is supposed to leave loose ends and make you wonder, oh, is that kid going to shoot up the school? Oh, is Alex going to die? Like, these are the ramifications of what happened here. But to not even know what happened with the trial, like, it felt a little too untidy for me. And I wish this was a 1-season show and that was it, because it's so important and it relayed its message so well. And I thought that was kind of the point, was just be like one and done. This is the message. Get out. So I'm a little disappointed on that. And that's probably the only reason I would give it a 9. Acting was phenomenal. Production was phenomenal. Music was phenomenal. A lot of phenomenals in there. I did
Love
that for
those
Greg.
words.
So yes, I'm with both you guys. It's a very good show. Everybody should watch it. And let us know what you thought, if you already did watch it, of course, in the comments below. What would you rate it? How did you feel about the message of the show? Do you feel like it glamorized suicide in any way, or that it didn't nail the message in any way? We would love to hear back from you. And of course, if you did like this video, we're here every month with a new Netflix club. This month we're doing live commentary actually on an episode, and that will be archived here on youtube.com/The Level Up Network. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, show that you love us, please.
Show us.
Yes. And
Show us your goodies.
Be good people.
yes, and be good people.
Please do.
We'll catch you next time. Until then, take care. And as always, don't forget to level up.
Level up.